Make is live. Hello. I have. Do you know? I just went live on my profile just to say hi everyone. Come on over. This is what we're doing today, and I couldn't find the book, which is a bit silly because I'm actually talking about it today. It was next to my bed. I think that tells you how much I use it. I mean, just look at the state of it. It's like battered and bruised. It's actually seen me through 3 different countries now. All manner of trials and tribulations this book has seen me through. So, hello and welcome. It is Friday, and Fridays I almost always, I do have 3 small children, so occasionally it doesn't happen and you get a video where I've realised that I can't make it, or because we world school and we travel around, I say we travel around Vietnam. Right now we don't because we can't, but usually, you know, we're travelling around, so you might get a live video from me in, I think the last one I did, we were in the Lat, which is the central provinces, and I was in a forest which was super cool, sitting on the floor, and yeah, so if it doesn't work every Friday, but this is my intention, this is what I strive for. One day I'll probably get it, and I'll be sad because I'll miss my kids because they'll be big. So today I want to do a free training. Some weeks it will be a big thing, like philosophy. Other times, you know, like the philosophy of parenting. You know, who are we? What right do we have to be in charge of these small people? Who are children? How do they come to us? Not the nuts and bolts, but you know, they come and they enlighten us, and you know, we talk about that kind of thing. Stop myself, otherwise I can go off for hours. Sometimes I will give you a nugget of psychology. It might be a hello first person. Oh, when you arrive, can you give me a hello, tell me where you are and when you are, and if you're watching the replay, please do give me a #replay, and again, where you are and when you are. I love that kind of thing, and I love that this group is people all over the world. It's just one of the most special things about it. So yeah, some weeks I will give you a nugget of child psychology, or well, sometimes it's a nugget of adult psychology, and because my background is teaching, youth offending, child development, child psychology, educational philosophy, educational psychology. This is my background. And some weeks I will give you how to get stuff done, what to do in certain situations. Now, earlier on in the week, I posted a rambling story about the time when I had 1 child at that point, and I was still in that stage where I was doing what everybody said. I don't really know what I was doing. No, I still don't know what I'm doing. I have 3 and I still don't know what I'm doing, just bigger don't know. And I was trying to listen to everything that everyone said. My eldest was premature, and it had that extra level. I remember even when I was in labour on the labour ward, because I'd gone in because I didn't know what was happening. I just felt funny, and they were like, "Do you not know? Or did they not teach you in NCT?" And I was like, "It starts next week." Like, I was completely unprepared, and as a result, those early milestones, which, bless her, she missed. She got them, but she got them, 5.5 weeks late, which is the right time considering she was 5 weeks early. And so what happened was, I was following what everybody said because I was so unsure about myself and I hadn't stepped into my parenthood. I'm going to talk about owning your parenthood at the end of this video because there are some exciting things happening on this group soon. And please let me know, has anybody else had that? Whether it's with your first or your second or your third, or however many you have, if you have a whole bushel of them. Has anybody else had that? Certainly, like maybe with their first ones where they tried to do what everybody else was saying. I mean, I remember, I can see comments. Yes, I've worked it out. Facebook has just changed the whole structure, which is a bit frustrating. Yeah, when you're trying to do everything that everybody tells you, and sometimes, this is the point where it got so ridiculous that I realised that I was allowed to not do what everybody said. It was when, I think it was my sister who took me aside and she was like, okay, this person is telling you to do one thing, this person is telling you to do another thing. It was about breastfeeding. It was one person was saying breastfeed on a timetable, only on a timetable, only when they cry for it. Not even a pronoun, only when it cries for it. It was an it. Only when it cries should you feed it. And I was like, oh, I don't really understand that, and I don't really like it. But you know, you have kids, I don't know. So I tried to follow that person's advice. And then, you know, of course, the advice from the special care unit, you have like a one-to-one feeding mentor. And I called her my fairy boob mother. And so my fairy boob mother was like, just feed them on demand. Just get it in them. Snuffle in, feed them. Crying, feed them. Looking uncomfortable, feed them. They'll tell you if they don't want it. And I was ridiculously trying to do the same thing. This, and they are mutually exclusive. You can't feed on a timetable and feed on demand. And I was really, really stressing myself out. And it took my sister saying, dude, what are you doing? Just do your thing. And I needed to hear that. And the wonderful Amy Smith, I don't know if you're even in this group, Amy. I'm going to try and tag Amy in a bit. Because I needed people to say, what are you doing? You don't have to do it. You don't have to follow other people's advice. So, fast forward a year and a half, and my eldest starts showing signs of toilet training. Cool. So I decide to go on Pinterest and follow what everyone else is doing. And so, you know, I had a little sticker chart, and when you went for a wee on the potty, you got a sticker, and then, you know, we were doing really well. I had a newborn at that stage as well. I think he was 6 weeks old. And she really loved going to the seaside. And so I'd said, at the end of this week, if you could do a whole week, I can't remember exactly what it was, but basically it was, if you do a whole week, we'll go, you know, here's your reward. You do a whole week of being dry or, you know, trying your best. And then you can, oh, sorry, something's popping up. And then we'll go to the seaside. Brilliant. And we had a whole week. No problems. And truly, I think she was ready for it. And in retrospect, I messed it up. Because she had this intrinsic motivation where she had decided that she wanted to be free of nappies and to be a big girl. And then I brought in the extrinsic, if you please me by doing a certain behaviour, I will reward you. And yeah, it's probably speeded up her progress short term. But then, so we were busy that week. I didn't even think of it being that weekend. So then I was like, okay, half term's like 3 weekends away. So we've got half term, that makes sense because husband's teacher. And then the wee started, and she started weeing on the floor, and no, she started like weeing, and I thought, oh, it was an accident. Okay, fine. And then you know, the same thing. I'm like, oh no, she just got there a bit late. And then we get outside, and she'd wee all over herself. Oh no, oh, maybe she's got a UTI. Oh, maybe there's a problem. Oh, I don't know. And then came the point where I realised that we'd somehow got into a power play, where she took all of her clothes off in the most dramatic way, and then just ruined my carpet whilst making eye contact with the look on her face. She still has that look. She got it from me. It's that thing, you know, when they're really close to you, that's when, you know, when you're so similar. It's always the similar ones. Does anybody else have that? Please, I know like a lot of people are going to watch this on the replay because the times are really funny. Does anybody have that? The one that they're the most similar to? They're the ones, you're the ones that rub each other up the wrong way sometimes. It's so funny. And at the time I was like, I think it was Thursday of the week. I was like, oh, something's happening and I don't know what is going on. So I just said, I said that to her. I said, okay, something is happening. You're really angry with me. And I don't know why, because we're on the same team. How about let's just clean this up, get on with our days, go out to the park, go out to the garden or whatever it was, and then we'll try again and we'll talk about it later. Which is what happened, and she was like, okay. And then I ran away to this book. And here's what I found. It is in chapter... Chapter 3, Alternatives to Punishment. Because a lot of people would have punished her. Because she'd weed all over the floor. It was really annoying. I got better things to do. I had a newborn baby. It was outright. I've had this word used about her a number of times. And I remember actually laughing when somebody said this. She's quite defiant, isn't she? I'm like, She isn't. She knows her own mind, and she will call you up on it. She's done that since she was like 1 year old. Anyone else got one of those? Please let me know. Makes me feel better. But actually, I really love that about her, because she stands up for herself, and when she knows that she's being disrespected or that something's not right, even if she doesn't have the words, she's now what, 6, and she can talk. And at that age she couldn't at 18 months. So this is the other reason why I love the Faber and Mazlish stuff, is that you read it, that they've got like the explanation stuff, and also they have at the end this summary. I'm going to work out if I can share the screen, because that would be super cool if I can. Okay. This is on the Conscious Parenting Toolbox, this exact technique and my take of it, and I have done a PDF for how you can try and use this at home. Funny about, because it's not letting me do it, which is really annoying. Apologies. I'll add it. I'll add a screenshot of it later. So here it goes. When you start, you first of all, do not try and solve the problem at the point, because likely you're cross, they're cross, there is a conflict, there might be a power play, or they might be screaming. And anybody who has had a screaming child or an angry child or somebody who's just not listening, they're not in the place to listen, and that's fine. I mean, it's annoying or it's upsetting, it's not the most fun to be in, but it's fine that they are not able to think in a coherent stream, and they're not able to talk about their feelings, they're not able to solve problems. None of us are. You think of the last time that you were really upset and somebody came to you with maybe a problem solving thing, and you just like, just go away, and maybe later on you're ready to talk, not right now. So here's my thing. Without knowing, I did the right thing at the time, because she made eye contact, you took all her clothes off, mess on the floor, fine. That is not the time to say, oh, let's do the problem solving technique, because nobody's ready for it. You need to calm down, they need to calm down. Perhaps initial things need to be addressed, like cleaning the carpet before it starts to smell, or putting things away, or making an area safe. So that's the first thing. It's like now, or it's the pre-thing. Now is not the time. Save it for later, save it for bedtime. Maybe take them out to the park, just you and them, the next day, or even that afternoon. Play it by ear, but find a time when you're calm and you're quiet and you're both feeling good, and then you can raise it. So here's what you do. Step 1 is you talk about the child's feelings. Now, I'm unsure. You'll have to let me know whether the video pops in and out, because I've been toggling between screens and I think it's affecting it. Excuse me. I won't toggle again. I have it here anyway. I've been referring to my own PDF. So step 1 is to acknowledge their feelings. Now, I talk about this a lot in the Conscious Parenting Toolbox, and every time that you ever see me, I will say this: acknowledge the feelings, acknowledge the feelings, because until feelings are named and acknowledged and allowed to be worked through, you can't do anything. Nothing is going to move forward. No way is your situation going to get better until you acknowledge the feelings. And here it goes. You're feeling really upset right now. Well, you introduce it. Is it okay if we talk about that thing that happened yesterday? And they'll likely go, yeah. And they're a bit nervous because they'll be worrying about whether they're in trouble. And you can say, you're not in trouble, I'm not cross with you. The thing is, note the avoidance of the word but there. Any Conscious Parent Toolboxes, you know that one, sit on your butt. That's another nugget of Faber and Mazlish. Sit on your butt. Thing is, it didn't feel very good, and I don't really want us to be like that with each other, because we're not fighting, we're on the same side. And I know that for you, this is how I broached it with her, for you to be doing something like that, that shows me that you were very unhappy. That's all you need to say. You can go further. You can say, I think you were really angry yesterday, or you're really upset about something. Or you can say, you seemed cross, you seemed hurt, maybe hurt isn't a good one, because they might think, depending on the age, again, hurt works with an 8-year-old, but my then nearly 2-year-old, no, she was just 2, my then 2-year-old, she was 2 by then because I had a baby, yeah, she was 2, my then 2-year-old, hurt will make her think, as in, hurt your elbow. So you seemed really upset, you seemed really sad. And you can follow it if you need to tailor this to your child. So this is, yes, it's a technique, but this is why one-to-one works so well, because this is me trying to, share this with everyone. Tailor it to your family and your child and your child's needs. And in fact, I'm thinking about this. This is how I did it with my eldest. I would do it completely I have done it completely differently with my middle one and my youngest, because they're different children, aren't they? They're different people. So yeah, you tailor it with the words that you know. And if you're not sure, when you name the feeling, you are really angry about that. Naming the feeling is really good, because it helps them to process the feeling, and it helps that it's not a scary, monster thing, the cloud that overtook them. It's a feeling and it has a name. That's less scary because it's a known now. However, if you're worried about getting it wrong, or if you're not using this vocabulary very much yet with your children, and they might not understand, you can add to the end, is that right? Did I get that right? They will tell you. My favorite, I'm laughing because my favorite is with my right now 3-year-old, just turned 3 about a week and a half ago. And I said, "You're really sad about that?" And he went, "I am not sad, Mummy. I am angry." Good, great, now we know. They will tell you, don't worry about that one. So yeah, acknowledge their feelings. And this is a big one. This is going to take you a long time, possibly. Give them as long as they need to get out everything they want to say. I feel angry, I feel upset, I feel blah, blah, blah. Just let them go. Just let them go and let them listen. And you can use the powerful, "Oh, I see. Just show them that you're listening. It's ridiculously powerful. The power of but really sincerely. It feels a bit strange at first, but what you're saying is, you can say it out loud, or you can say it with your behavior. "I hear you. I'm listening. Okay, I see." This is what you're saying. You're saying, "I see you. I love you. I understand your feelings. It is safe because I'm not saying anything about it. It is safe for you to speak your truth right now." This is what you're saying to your child. So, oh, brilliant. I've changed it so I can see posts. Yes. And let them do it. They've got a really good example here in the thing that says, "It isn't easy. Oh, I've been thinking it probably isn't easy for you to leave your friends when you're having fun." I think we've all been in that situation where someone's not wanted to leave, and then they're just going like, "Yeah." And they might just say, "Yeah," or they might full on rant at you. Whatever is fine. It's just your job to acknowledge it. "Yeah, I see. Step 2 is where you share your feelings. Oh, I've got itchy nose, I'm so sorry. Is where you share your feelings. You tell them. Here it says, "On the other hand, I worry when you're late." So this is someone with an older child, well, I guess a young person really, a preteen, saying, "I worry when you're late." So you're getting your point across. So from my point of view with the toilet rebellion was, the thing is, I can't have you weighing all over the floor because it makes a mess, and the thing is, I don't like it when we fight. Here we are. Or if one of the children has been previously, you had a big argument, or they screamed in your face, or they threw something at you, you could say, "I don't like it when things get thrown at me." There's no blame here. Please note this. Oh gosh, I don't know what's happening. I'm probably going to sneeze soon. Yeah, I don't like it when that happens. It makes me feel a bit scared. It makes me feel sad. And you can say that. But here is the header to the work, which is the main thing of what I do when I support clients. It's hard for children to hear their parents express negative or challenging emotions about them. This bit has to be really short. Like it's a one-liner. Mine, the thing is, I don't like it when we fight, and I don't want you to make a mess of the floor, or I don't like it when the floor is messy and we have to clean it up, because we're having to clean it up instead of so itchy. We have to clean the floor up instead of playing. That's it. Now, you will likely have big feelings of your own, because we all do, of, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Oh, this is awful. Oh, I hate being treated like that. Oh, I'm really upset. I feel afraid. You know, a child yelling at you, if you have been yelled at in your past, and we'll talk about this another day, it's triggering. It is triggering. So you might be put immediately in your place of fear because somebody screamed at you. That is not for them to know. That is for you to work through in your own time. That is for a journal. That is for talking to your partner. That is for something that you work through with a professional. Oh, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be me. I just want to be. I just want to raise the awareness of it. I mean, obviously, I'd like people to work with me, but I don't care. I don't care. I just want to get it out there that if you have things and you're being triggered with them, it's not for the child to know. This is for you just simply to say, I don't like that because I find it upsetting. I find it scary when people scream at me. I don't like being hurt. That's what you need to say. But you have a right to work through those feelings, but do them not with your 4-year-old. You know, like, this is what the work is. This is what the journaling exists for. This is why I have the conscious parenting toolbox. This is what friends are for. This is what this group is for. I mean, seriously, this is the kind of thing that I set up this group for. People to say, okay, like, my kid has really triggered me because they screamed at me, and I was screamed at a lot as a child, and I don't really know how to move forward. This is what we talk about. This is what cycle breakers do. This is what conscious parents do. They take their feelings, they realize, oh, my feelings cause me to react in certain ways, and they deal with them in productive ways. And they support their children with techniques. And once you're free of the triggers, it's actually quite fun. So we have step 1, talk about the child's feelings a lot, if they want to. Step 2, talk about your feelings, not very much, but just make it known. Step 3, this is where the fun starts. Because now you've acknowledged the feelings, you can actually do the technique. If you try the technique without acknowledging the feelings, it will be a mess. Just fair warning. Can't say it any more clearly than that. So step 3 is where you come up with ideas. A mutually agreeable solution. This is the fun bit, because you end up, and like I said, I've done this with a 2-year-old, I've done this with a 6-year-old, I've actually done this in teaching practice before I knew what it was called. You sit down and you get a notepad or whatever, you can have an iPad, whatever you write on, and just write down everything they say. Right, let's come up with some solutions, because kid says it's not something that has made them happy, you said it's not something that made you happy. Okay, let's move forward and solve the problem. Boom. Here's the interesting thing, the really, really important thing. Do not edit. They may say some things. This is actually step 4. Hello, person. I'm so sorry, we're at step 4. So we've got step 1, acknowledge the kid's feelings. Step 2, share your feelings quickly. Step 3 is say, okay, let's come up with a solution. We want to solve this together because we want to move forward. We don't want to be fighting. We don't want to be hitting. We don't want to be feeling angry. So let's come up with an idea. Step 4, and it is a step on its own. It's kind of an extension of step 3, but it is so important. We don't evaluate. We don't put anything down. Even and including when they say things that make us go, for example, send the baby back to hospital because I don't want it. They will say things like that. Small children do say things like that. Older children might say things like that as well. Things where you're like, should I be condoning this? I don't know. But if you effectively put their idea down whilst you're doing it, they'll shut down. And you're so close, because step 5 is the solution. You're so close. It's just, you have to bite your tongue, and it's maybe not that fun, but don't worry, because you are going to get a chance to tailor it and have your say in a minute. So write down whatever they say. So say in the example from the Faber and Mazlish book, it's a mom trying to get the kid to come home, or get them to come home on time. And they might come up with all kinds of solutions, like, okay, so you have to send a taxi to collect me, or we need to move house so we're right next door to my friend and then I'll be home on time. Or I want a car, you know, if they're maybe like 15 or 16. Or aliens coming down. I mean, you can add some of your, this is really useful actually. It is useful for you to seed ridiculous, not possible ideas, because it helps your children, no matter what age they are, it helps them with the critical thinking, which is going to go with option 5. So add some things in like, oh, an alien could beam in and solve the problem. An alien could pick you up in their tractor beam and take you home. My examples with my daughter, I know you, person who's watching, you missed this, but it was about toilet training. And I don't like that term, but that's what I had tried to do and I completely messed it up. It was about helping her with going to the bathroom. So she might say like, oh, I just want to go back into nappies. Because it's easier, because she's, you know, it was all stressful. She might say like, I'm not going to wear clothes ever again. She might have chosen to live outside in a barn where she didn't, you know, she could just go to the toilet like a cow. I actually think that one might have come up. You know, we have all of these ideas. Do not edit, just write them down, or help them to write them down. Again, it depends on the age, it depends on your child and your relationship with them. And step 5 is the fun bit. Step 5, here is the educator in me. Step 5 is amazing because this is where you do the critical thinking. This is where you go through and say, okay, well, which ones are going to work? And you heap the praise. We're solving the problem together. We're doing it. You know, explain as you're doing it. So this is a completely different life in itself about praise. Real meaningful praise is you saying, I've seen you, I've heard you, I acknowledge your amazing effort. So we don't need the good boy, the good girl. You know, if you want to do it, it's not the end of the world, but you don't need, praise isn't necessarily like a pat on the head. It's you saying, I see you, I see your effort. You can say, we're solving our problem together. We're working as a team. We're so awesome. So you can go through that and then get a ruler out, or, you know, a different colored pen or a pencil or a felt tip, whatever, it doesn't matter, and go through, okay, so how have they worded it here? Okay, now let's look at our list and see what we want to cross out and what we want to keep. This is where your little cheats of, oh, the aliens will come and beam you. This is where these are brilliant, because, oops, someone at the door. This is where these are so brilliant, because you get to cross them off together. And the child saying, cross out the one where you pick me up, so, you know, they don't want to be picked up by their mum. Fair enough. And you can say, okay, well, which ones do you want to keep? And then you go through together. And you go, okay, so the aliens isn't going to work, is it? And this is where you get to say, I'm making it up, but, you know, the thing that they say that might be quite upsetting, or they might show some concerning words, feelings about their other siblings or something. So they might say, send the baby back, or the baby can live with somebody else because I don't want it here. And what they're saying, this is that key thing, because we're upset by that because it's hurtful, and we want to say, our knee jerk is, don't say that about your brother, don't say that about the baby. They're really important in our family and you'll come to love them soon. Because what we do there is we negate what they're saying, because what they are really saying is, I want more attention. What they're really telling us through their rudimentary way of expressing it is, I feel some big feelings around the fact that we have a baby, in that particular example. But in step 5, when you're, you know, running through it, you can say, I don't feel very comfortable with that, because I understand that you have some feelings about the baby, and maybe you would like to have some more time with just me and you, and that's fine, we can do that. But the baby is part of our family, and I love her or him, or, you know, I don't want to do that. So can we please cross that off? Now, because you've been through this whole process, because you've acknowledged their feelings, because you've shared a bit of you with them, because you've listened to them and you've written down what they said, because you have done this, they are highly likely to say, okay, because you're on the same team and you're helping them and you're helping them. And then, you get down to the end and you choose one or two and you get a plan and you get them in action. That is the collaborative problem solve. A really, really great way to end it is to, write it down, like what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. So we did this once around bedtime and around my daughter, bless her, she's been experimented on so much as the eldest. Anyone else got that? Please do share, because again, it helps all of us when we share. This is the point of courageous vulnerability, is sharing our stories supports other people, and it makes us all feel a little bit more normal. As much as we can do, and as much as that is a meaningful term. What happened when I went through that with my daughter around bedtime is what came out was she didn't feel that she was getting enough time with us because we had 2 babies. And bless her, she herself was still she was a toddler still then, and she wanted more time with us, so what she was doing was stringing out bedtime. So we came up with the conclusion, after all these things, no, you can't put the baby back, no, the baby can't live in the tree, no, we can't do this, no, you can't go to bed at midnight, blah, blah, blah. We came up with the solution that John, husband, or I would play a game with her in the afternoon as soon as Daddy got home. So she would have special time with us, and then the other parent would do a special extra long book read, and she would get to stay up 20 minutes after the boys. Boom. So we wrote it down, we did a poster together, and we stuck it in her bedroom. And she was 3 then, and she would refer to it. So you can extend it, and you can make it a big thing, and also that is a sign of your commitment to each other, your commitment to solving problems, your commitment to harmony in your home, and your commitment and your love to your child. More than gifts or presents, showing them that you've heard them, you love them, and you are serious about having a strong relationship. It's life-changing, it's family-changing, and that is where the connection happens. And then you get to show up that night before they go to bed. You get to show up when they need a bit of extra leeway so they can come home up to 10-15 minutes late. You get to show your child your commitment by showing up, and that's the tricky bit, and that's just for us all to work out, isn't it? Quick recap. 1, don't do it in the moment. It's not the time, it won't work. It will just blow up in your face. Trust me. I've been there. Feel free to learn that lesson yourself, but you can also shortcut. 1, is this an okay time to talk about it? Okay, let's talk about it. Acknowledge their feelings. I think that you were feeling yesterday. Is that right? Let them talk as much or as little as they like. You might get yeah. Or you might get a whole diatribe. Fine, let them get it out. Whatever they need to do. 2, share your feelings. Keep it short, keep it sweet. You are absolutely allowed to have feelings about it, about the situation that you're solving the problem about. That's not for you to share with your child. That is for you to do as your own work. This is the work of the journaling, the friends, the talking to your partner if you have one. This is the aside work to work through your own feelings. So when it comes to your child, you get, I'm sorry, but you get 1 sentence. I felt bad about that. I felt sad. It made me feel scared. Whatever. Step 3, come up with all the different solutions you can. Step 4, do not edit as they're doing it. Just let them blah, 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 even if they are hair-raising. They will be. Kids are like Roald Dahl, aren't they? They'll come up with some crazy stuff. And step 5 is, I find this the most fun bit. Step 4, seed in some bonkers ones. I know it's cheating a bit. You're the leader in the family, you get to do this. And through doing that, through adding, send the aliens in to solve the problem, you are supporting them. It's not cheating. You are using non-useful, very, very fantasy-driven techniques. You are using them strategically to support them in their critical thinking, because it will be obvious that doesn't work, and you can start there. You can start there with, can we really send the aliens in? I don't know how to get in touch with them. Let's cross that out. This is what you do, and you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be serious. So step 5, whittle it down to 1 or 2 useful points for development and action. Postscript is, make a poster or something, make it clear, choose your actions, make it clear, and then show up. That is it. Please, oh my goodness, 35 minutes, well done me. Didn't waffle. Let me know. Please let me know. Have you ever tried problem solving before? Have you read this book and tried anything else from it? If it's new to you, are you going to have a go? And other interesting prompts for ideas. What are you going to try it on? We've got ideas of not getting enough attention, maybe throwing a wobbly because they're not getting attention. And it seems, this is the thing, is it always seems like it's something else. It always seems like it's about the thing. Like with mine and my daughter's case, it seemed like it was about the toilet and not using nappies, and it wasn't. It was about the fact, I haven't even told you the conclusion because it's in the post. What it came down to is that she thought if she did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday we'd go to the seaside. And I hadn't been very clear, so I learned a lesson there to be very, very clear. And she thought that she'd worked really hard, because it was really hard for her to listen to her body. It's hard for all of them at that stage. She thought that she'd worked really hard and that I'd basically shortchanged her and not held up my end of the bargain. And she was quite rightly really, really annoyed. Although that isn't actually what happened, but that's what she thought. So it gave us an opportunity to work through each other's perceptions. And then we solved the problem we did something really lovely that week. I think we went out to a cafe or something to celebrate it that weekend. And then we planned our trip. When we were on that date, we planned our trip to the seaside for the next weekend. And then we showed up and we did it. And that is how we solved that particular problem, by acknowledging and understanding each other's feelings and where we were coming from. She was 2. It can be done with small children. You obviously need to use different words to how you would use it with a 15-year-old or an 8-year-old or even a 5-year-old, but it can be done. Let me know how it goes, and please put in your ahas, your big takeaways, if anything has made you go da-da, because that lights my world up. Have a really, really lovely weekend, and speak to you soon. Bye.